Picture this, a 12-year-old girl sitting on her bedroom floor in Pennsylvania, strumming a guitar for the very first time, with absolutely no idea that she would one day become the biggest pop star on the planet. She didn't have connections, she didn't have a famous family, she just had a dream, a guitar, and a stubborn refusal to give up. Before we take you on the journey that changed music forever, hit that subscribe button, because the story of how Taylor Swift became Taylor Swift, you are not ready for this. There is something almost magical about looking back at where it all began. Before the stadiums, before the Grammys, before the billion-dollar empire, there was a little girl on a Christmas tree farm in West Reading, Pennsylvania. Born in 1989, Taylor Allison Swift didn't grow up in a musical family. Her father was a stockbroker, her mother a mutual fund marketing executive. But from the very beginning, she was different. She had something burning inside her that couldn't be taught. At just 10 years old, she won a poetry writing competition. At 11, she sang the Star-Spangled Banner before a Philadelphia 76ers basketball game, her first time performing in front of thousands. And at 12, she picked up a guitar and started writing songs. Her fingers blistered from learning to play, but she didn't stop. She couldn't stop, because somewhere deep inside, that little girl knew she was meant for something bigger. And then came the moment that changed everything. Taylor convinced her parents to take her to Nashville, Tennessee, the heart of country music. She started making regular trips to Music City, teaming up with songwriters and meeting with labels. She would personally drop off demos at record companies, hoping someone would notice. Most people didn't, but she kept going. In 2004, when she was just 14 years old, her family made the biggest decision of their lives. They sold their home in Pennsylvania and moved to Nashville so Taylor could pursue her dream. A stockbroker father leaving his career behind, a mother uprooting everything, all for a dream that had no guarantee of working out. That is not just support, that is sacrifice. And that sacrifice paid off. Later that same year, at just 14 years old, Taylor signed a songwriting deal with Sony ATV Music Publishing, becoming the youngest songwriter they had ever signed. But even then, the journey wasn't easy. She had a development deal with RCA Records, but she eventually parted ways with them because they wanted her to wait until she was 18 to release an album. Taylor wasn't willing to wait. She knew what she wanted, and she wasn't going to let anyone tell her she wasn't ready. And then, in late 2004, everything changed. Scott Borchetta, a former DreamWorks Records executive who was in the process of starting his own label, heard Taylor perform at Nashville's iconic Bluebird Cafe. He was so impressed that he offered to sign her to his new label, even though it didn't officially exist yet. The label was Big Machine Records, and Taylor Swift was its very first artist. She was just 15 years old. In 2005, she signed the deal, and the rest, as they say, is history. On June 19, 2006, at just 16 years old, Taylor released her debut single, a song called Tim McGraw. It was named after the country superstar, but it wasn't about him. It was about young love, about memories, about the bittersweet ache of growing up. The song entered the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart at number 60. It eventually peaked at number 6, and on October 24, 2006, her self-titled debut album was released. She was just 16 years old, and she had written most of those songs during her freshman year of high school. You know what I think? I think the most remarkable thing about Taylor Swift's journey isn't the fame or the fortune, it's the belief. The belief that a little girl from a Christmas tree farm could become one of the most influential artists of her generation. It's the refusal to take no as an answer, the willingness to fail, to be rejected, to keep going when everyone else would have quit. She was told she was too young, too inexperienced, too different, and she proved every single one of them wrong. At the end of the day, Taylor Swift's journey to fame is a story about dreaming big and refusing to let go. It's about a family that believed in her when nobody else did, and it's about a girl who picked up a guitar at 12 years old and never put it down. That is the most inspiring thing I've ever heard. But now I need to hear from you. What part of Taylor's journey surprised you the most? That she won a poetry competition at 10? That she became the youngest songwriter Sony ATV ever signed? Or that her family moved their entire lives for her dream? And do you think she would have made it without that move to Nashville? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're there, smash that like button and subscribe so we can keep telling these incredible stories together. I'll see you in the next one.